What's going on, everyone? So one of the things that I talked about leading into this draft is the potential of options opening up for the Lakers that weren't there, right? These doors potentially opening that were once locked, right? Because you go into the draft, you're going to have multiple teams draft multiple players, and some of those teams are going to draft guys that they now have an abundance of, particularly the center position, right? Lakers need centers. And one of the teams that is now a door that is open that wasn't open before are the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns were not an option for the Lakers, right? And now are in the form of a Nick Richards. So not only did Cayman Malik fall to the Phoenix Suns at number 10, which of course, right? But on top of that, they were also traded for Mark Williams, who was the failed Lakers trade, which I think is hilarious because they actually paid less than what the Lakers did, because the Lakers would have given up Connect, a first. Cam Reddish was in that, but that was kind of just more to open up a roster spot. So it was really Dalton Connect, a first plus a pick swap, where they were able to do it for the 29th pick as well as a future 2029 pick that is least favorable that they own. So I don't know if that was something that was already finalized and then Malik just kind of fell into their lap and they're like, well, we got to take him, right? Like, best player available. We can't let him go past us, and we need a center. Right? And that was a team that they were desperate for center. They needed size on the inside. And they went from a team that had none to a team that now has an abundance, right? And so now they're going to have to make some decisions. So now they have a Mark Williams, who's probably going to be their starter. And now they have a Malik, who's going to be probably their backup. And there's already reports that, hey, Phoenix is expected to field offers for Nick Richards because he's also going to be due a contract, right? So he's on his final year of a $5 million deal. So he is incredibly cheap right now to trade for, which is why if I'm the Lakers, I'm picking up the phone and I'm trying to land him, right? Because even if you get a Walker Kessler, even if you get whomever, right? Nick Richards as your backup would be fantastic. And that's ideally, personally, that's where I would prefer him to be, is your backup. He's 27 years old. He'll be 28 going into next season. So he's a guy you could still have through his next contract, right? He's not a guy that I see getting 18 to 20 million. He's probably a guy that's, maybe in the 15 million range, right? 12 to 15 million range. It's kind of the going rate, for a backup center. Even look at a guy like, Steven Adams, right? Like, and maybe contract similar to that, somewhere in that range. But point is that, like, getting a guy like Nick Richards, he is so cheap. Obviously depends on the assets and stuff that you have to give up. But if you can go get him, he's an ideal center. Like, he's exactly what the Lakers need on paper. I just, again, would prefer, he kind of is who he is. You kind of know what he is. I just don't see the upside and potential as if you could go get somebody else. I also, to be honest, I don't hate the idea of Nick Richards over even like a Clint Capella or a Nick Claxton. There we go. Nick Claxton, I do like him better just for his defensive versatility. Nick Claxton is a better player, without a doubt. But like, Nick Richards is so cheap. Like, could you go get a Nick Richards and then go solve some of your other needs and then go get like a Clint Capella? Right? Because, again, Nick Richards is nearly a double-double guy, and that's without a guy like Luka. Right? Luka's going to ensure that that guy gets at least 10 plus points a night. Right? And look, Nick Richards was the guy that many of us, myself included, wanted the Lakers to go trade for the last couple seasons. When he went to Phoenix, myself and many of us were like, why didn't the Lakers go do that, right? Why didn't the Lakers go make that happen? And it was just like incredibly frustrating in that regard. But now the Lakers can kind of reset that and go get a guy, Nick Richards. And again, that was a guy that would not have been available if it wasn't for this draft. The draft kind of fell that way. Because again, if Malik doesn't fall to them, they probably take somebody else that is not a center. They go do the Mark Williams trade, but Mark Williams is their starter, Nick Richards is their backup. So they're not trading Nick Richards. So again, this was a door that opened just solely through the NBA draft. And look, there's going to be more doors that are going to open, right? You look at the second round, there's going to be teams that are going to take guys. I talked about Portland, the Trailblazers, the Brooklyn Nets ended up drafting guys. There's several other teams that I'm going to talk about that ended up picking up a couple guys that now made the Lakers potentially capable of landing a guy, right? And also the good thing is that now because of this draft and because now several teams are likely to make one of their centers available, that gives the Lakers so much more leverage. Because one, how many teams need centers, right? Don't get me wrong, there are some teams. You look at a team like Golden State, they could probably get in the market for some of these centers and whatnot. But there's not like Lakers aren't going to have a ton of competition. Like there's, in my opinion, right? Obviously, you never know what people are thinking, but in my opinion, there appears to be more, at least right now, unless things change, more centers that could potentially be available than suitors for those centers, which gives the Lakers leverage to now go, hey, we want a Nick Richards. Okay, you don't want to trade, you want the farm for Nick Richards. Well, we could always just go and get a Nick Claxton, right? Or, Atlanta's got a couple centers now, right? Hey, Portland has like 5 or 6 centers now. We might be able to get 2 from them, right? So, hey, let's get something done. Would you rather have something or nothing? Right? How do you want to go about this? Right? And that door opening with a team like the Phoenix Suns really just kind of helps and benefits the Lakers in just giving them a little more leverage. I don't think it's something that is like, oh, that's it. Now the Lakers are going to get guys for, they were getting pennies on the now half the pennies. No, but any little bit, any little nuance that you can kind of swing things into your favor, that's just beneficial, right? And it's good because if the Lakers miss out on one guy, there's an opportunity for another, right? Like if they do miss out on a Nick Richards, there's potential for, like I said, a Clint Capella, you could go talk to Atlanta and Portland and all these other teams that, Daniel Gafford, all these other teams that have these centers that now are, again, you have this sort of abundance for, and that's not counting whatever teams end up getting guys in the second round, and that's not counting what other free agents are available, right? Because again, it's just like, hey, we're okay with just going with a Clint Capella and a Brook Lopez next season. If, we'd love to have Nick Richards, but, if you want a first and Dalton Connect, you're crazy, right? It's just crazy, right? Like, but, if you could turn, your second round pick and some salary filler stuff like, hey, because again, Phoenix needs guys, right? They need bodies, they need positions, they have several key needs. Lakers have a couple guys that can, right? More likely than not, you're probably looking at a third team just because of Phoenix and their cap situation and then the Lakers cap situation. So, maybe you're kind of roping it into, a Miami deal or something like that. Or maybe you're going and getting another piece and you're getting a Nick Richards and another piece, right? But Nick Richards, again, would be fantastic. I'd love to pick up Nick Richards if the Lakers are able to pull it off and at the right price. Again, it has to be at the right price. And you got to keep in mind, you're going to have to pay him. Right? He's cheap right now, but he's not going to be cheap for that much longer, right? It's his last deal or last year of that $5 million, and then he goes into unrestricted free agency. It's nice that he is so cheap that you can just go trade for him, but again, things you keep in mind. But what does he provide? What is he something that he could do for a team like the Lakers? Well, you look at last year. Right, between Charlotte and Phoenix, he played 57 games, 43 games started, averaged 22 minutes per game. So again, basically backup center. But 22 minutes played. He took 6.1 field goal attempts between the two teams. He actually took slightly more in Phoenix than he did in Charlotte, but 6.1 field goal attempts per game, shot 59.1% from the floor, 59.4% from two-point range, EFG of 59.1%. Again, not a floor spacer, not a guy that's going to knock down the three ball for you. But free throw shooting, he shot 74.4% on 2.8 attempts. He averaged 8.2 rebounds, an assist, half a steal, a full block, and 9 points per game. He was, again, better in Phoenix because he was the Phoenix Suns starter, literally. He started in 34 of the 36 games for Phoenix, and that was just like the first 2 games that he got there and then immediately became their starter. But as a starter, played 22.7 minutes per game. Again, got 6.5 attempts compared to 5.4 attempts. Shot 60.5% from the field as opposed to 56.1% with Charlotte. And then shot, again, just under 61% on 6.4 attempts, EFG of 60.2%. 0.5. Shot 82.2% from the free throw line with the Phoenix Suns on 2 attempts. Averaged 8.6 rebounds, including 2.7 offensive rebounds. He is a 2 offensive rebound a game guy. An assist, half a steal, a block, and 9.5 points per game as opposed to 9 points. So basically half a point more, which is just explained because of the uptick in field goal percentage. He also would be playing alongside a guy named Luka Doncic, who is going to he's going to be 70% from the floor because he's just be getting putbacks and lobs all game, right? He's just got to play his role. But you look at his per 36, obviously per 36 doesn't tell you everything, because again, this is a guy that has been basically a backup his entire career. But his per 36, he would be 15 points, 14 rebounds, including 4.3 offensive rebounds, an assist, half a steal, and then 1.5 blocks per game. So again, guy that would be wonderful on the Los Angeles Lakers. Ideal, give you that solid center, which again, I'd prefer him as a backup. But if you told me he was our starter, I'm fine with it. Right? I don't think that would be the end of the world, especially at least to get through this season. Right? If you went, like I said, let's say Nick Richards is your starter, you ain't got a Clint Capella as your backup, I'm okay with that. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.